Hi, so today we will talk about chapter 6.3, how to factor a trinomial, where a is equal to 1. So later we'll learn when a is not equal to 1. But in this chapter, I just want to focus when a equals to 1. So first of all, I want to talk about some terminology, such as if you see a polynomial ax squared plus bx plus c, so what's that mean? So first of all, terms. So these parts are called terms, such as ax squared, bx, and the c. So in this specific example, our polynomial has 3 terms. These are called terms. And then the x, whatever the unknown letters, we call it variables. Okay? So what is coefficient? So coefficients are the letters in front of the variable. The part that I highlighted, in our case, it will be, not C, I'm sorry. It will be our A and B. These two are coefficient. So C, the name for C is called constant term. That's our C, because it doesn't have a variable, so that's why it's been called constant terms. So after we know these terms, if we want to factor the trinomials, which includes 3 terms, right? So where the coefficient, which is the highest term, so this is with the highest power, we call it the highest term. Where with the coefficient, a is equals to 1 of x squared. Okay, so such as x squared plus 2s plus 6. These are trinomials with the coefficient a equals to 1. Or x squared minus 4x plus 10. These are another trinomials with the coefficients equals to 1. Okay? So before we started, remember we learned FOIL. So if I have this equation, x plus 6 times x minus 4, I want you to FOIL it, which is first, outer, inner, and last. So when I FOIL it, I have x times x, I have x squared, minus 4x, and then plus 6x, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. So, and then we combined the like terms, such as negative 4x and the 6x. These two, since x has the same power, we consider these are the like terms. So the function is equal to 6 plus 2x minus 24. So here is the FOIL and the answer of the FOIL. So to factor it, what will you do? Like I say, like what we talked about last class, FOIL, factor and FOIL, they're just opposite direction. So I want you to do the reverse way to solve the same problem as our example 1. This is our example 2. Okay, so we have x squared plus 2x minus 24. And then the reverse way is, instead of 2x, we will have negative 4x plus 6x minus 24. And then we factor it. Remember the thing that we learned last turn? We group it first. We split it into two groups. So I have x times x minus 4 plus 6 times x minus 4. So now since they have the common factor x minus 4, that means we can factor x minus 4. I have x plus 6 times x minus 4. Okay, so that's the reverse way to solve the problem 1. So this part is called factor. This is called FOIL. And then I have a question. So when we split 2x, we split as negative 4x and 6x. So is there any other way to split 2x, such as, let's try 7x and 5x, negative 5x. Let's split in this way, see if that works. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 24, and then x squared minus 5x plus 7x minus 24. So we will group it, these two as a group, these two as a group. So I have an x, and then x minus 5. Oh no, the second group, they don't have a common factor. That means you can't factor them out. So that means 7x and negative 5x doesn't work. So now let's try another one. Let's try 3x and 5x. Because negative 3x plus 5x still equals to positive 2x. So again, the same problem. Negative 3x plus 5x minus 24. And then the first two, I factor x out. I have x minus 3. Okay, our second group. Again, 5x and 24, they don't have any common factors, so they can be factored out. So that means this is another dead end. So it goes on, you will find out that negative 4x and the 6x is the only solution that we have. This is the only combination that will work. So now I want to teach you an AC method. So what is AC method? How is this going to use? So AC method means we want two numbers that satisfy these two conditions. One, when these two numbers, let's say these two numbers is something that we're looking for, they multiply together is equals to our C. And then the second part, when them add them together, it's equal to our B. In this example, two specific example, our B is equal to 2, and the C is equal to negative 24. So let's take a look. Which two number multiply is equal to C? So I have negative 6 and 4. Negative 6 times 4 is equal to negative 24. And then negative 6 at 4, oh, I'm sorry, positive 6. So positive 6 times negative 4 is equals to negative 24, which is our constant term C. And then 6 at negative 4 is equal to 2, which is our B. So that satisfies the AC method. That tells us that 6 and negative 4 is the two number that we're looking for to split to get the combination that we want. So 6 and negative 4 is the only option. Okay, so now let's try another example. So now I have x squared plus 9x plus 18. So we need to split 9x into two numbers so that they will follow the AC method so that we can regroup them, we can refactor them. So now we need two numbers. So we want to follow the AC method. So such as two numbers multiply equals to 18, and then two numbers they add together is equal to 9. Because we want two numbers multiply equals to C, and two numbers add them together is equal to B, which is 9. So let's think, which two numbers? So 3 and 6 is the only option that works. So 3 and 6 is the only option for this method, because 3 times 6 is equals to 18. So two number multiply is equal to 18, and then two number they add together is equal to 9. So that means our 9x you want to split into 3x and the 6x. So I have x squared plus 3x plus 6x plus 18. Now we can regroup them. So the first two group, you can factor x out. You have x plus 3. And for these two group, you have 6x and the 18. So the common factor would be 6. So I have an x plus 3. So now they both have a common factor x plus 3. So we can factor x plus 3 out. So we have s plus 6 times s plus 3. So that would be the solution when you factor it out. Oops. Okay, so now let's do another example. I have x squared minus ax minus 20. Our goal is want to split negative as. The sign is important. The second term is negative ax. We want to follow the AC method. Oops, don't have enough space. Okay, so for AC method, we want two numbers multiply to get negative 20, and then two numbers at equals to what? Negative 8. So which two number would does that? So should be negative 10 times 2 is equal to what? Negative 20. And then negative 10 at 2 is equals to negative 8. So negative 10 and 2 is the two number that we're looking for. So we want to split negative 8x as negative 10x plus 2x. So I have x squared minus negative 10x and then add 2x minus 20. Look, negative 8 is still equals to this part. Okay. And now we split into two groups. So I have x minus 10 at 2 times x minus 10. And then x minus 10 would be the common factor. So I can continue to do it. Okay. Okay, so what about two variables? Let's go a little bit deeper to try something about two variables. So if I have a two variable, we would just use the same way as we does for one variables. So such as a squared minus 9ab plus 14b squared. So also we would do the same thing as what we did with one variables, but this term they have a coefficient -9 and then +14. We want these two to follow the AC methods. So I want two number multiply equals to 14, and then two number they add equals to -9. Okay. So which two number? So what about -7 times -2 is equals to 14, right? And then -7 at -2 is equal to -9. So that means -7 and -2 is some number that we're looking for. So that we have a squared minus 7ab minus 2ab plus 14b squared. And then we split into two groups. Okay, so for the first group, I have a, common factor a, and then a minus 7b, right? And then for the second group, what's the common factor? 2b, right? 2b or -2b. Let's try -2b. So that I have a, so 14b squared divide by -2b should equals to negative. So you need to change the sign as 7b. Okay, so here the sign changed because there's a negative in here. Okay, why I want to do the negative? If I don't have a negative, if this is a positive, so this sign will totally be opposite of this part. Remember we learned that trick on last section. That's why we want the negative sign. We want -2b instead of a +2b. Okay, so I have a minus 2b times a minus 7b as a common factor. That's how you factor this part out. So it's really important to be aware of the negative, such as x squared plus 5x minus 6. Also, we use the AC method. We want two number multiply to get -6. And then we want two number to add, and then to get what? +5. So let's think which two numbers they multiply together is equal to -6, and add them together is equal to -5. So if you don't care about the negative sign, let's see what happened. Instead of -6, let's do +6. So if you don't care about the negative sign, so two number, when they multiply together to get 6, either 2 times 3 is equal to 6, and then 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Okay, so here I have what? x squared, I split as 2x plus 3x minus 6. And now we split these two groups. I have x and then x plus 2 plus 3, x minus 2. So look, they don't have any common factor. One is x plus 2, the other is x minus 2. So that it won't work. It doesn't work. So that means we need to be careful about the negative sign. So now let's do it again with carefully to pursue this with the negative sign. We want two number multiply equals to negative 6. And then two number, they add to get a positive 5. Okay, which two number? So I have 6 times negative 1 is equal to negative 6. And then 6 at negative 1 is equals to positive 5. So that means 6 and negative 5 is something that we're looking for to split 5x. So I have x plus 6x minus x minus 6. So first two group and second group. The first group common factor x, and then I have x plus 6 minus, what's their common? Negative 1, right? So I have negative 1 times x plus 6. Remember, if there's a negative sign, negative 6 divided by negative 1 is equal to a positive 6. So now they have a common factor x plus 6. So this can be factored as x minus 1, x plus 6. So probably you may notice these shortcuts. So once we identify the two number that we need, the two number will be in our factors, such as, look, let me use the blue one. We identify 6 and negative 1. Look at our answer. It's equal to x minus 1 and x plus 6. Similar to here, we identify our two number, negative 7 and negative 2. So the answer is including negative 2 and negative 7. Similar to here, we found this is negative 10 and positive 2. So the answer is x plus 2 and x minus 10. So what does this tell you? That tells you that, hey, if you already identify which two number to satisfy our AC method, we can just go ahead and write down the final answer, such as this one. X squared minus 7x plus 18. We use AC method. So we want two number multiply to get what? Positive 18. Oh, I'm sorry, negative 18. Negative 18, and then we want two number to add to get negative 7. So what two number? So we can use negative 9 and positive 2, because negative 9 times positive 2 is equal to negative 18, and then negative 9 plus 2 is equal to negative 7. So that satisfies the AC method. So that means we can write down our answer as x minus 9 and then x plus 2 will be the final answer. So let's do another one. What if we have m squared minus mn minus 13n squared? So this is the same. We wanted to multiply to get negative 13, and we want them to add to get a negative 1. Here doesn't have any coefficient. That means should be 1, because 1 multiply everything is equals to 1. And don't forget the negative sign, so that's why it's negative 1. Here is negative 13. So which two number? So I can have negative 6 times 5 is equals to negative 13, and then negative 6 at 5 is equal to negative 1. So that means negative 6 and 5 is the number we're looking for. So the answer should be n minus 6 n. Don't forget the n, because the n is in the second term, the third term. And then n plus 5n. Okay, so let's do one more. So sometimes we may not, the answer might have no solution, such as x minus 2x plus 6. So we want to multiply to get 6, and then we want to add them and to get negative 2. So the only possibility to get so is, to get 6 is 2 times 3 is equal to 6. But 2 adds 3 is not equals to negative 2. So the other possibility would be what? 1 times 6, 1 and 6, these two numbers. These two multiplied together is equal to 6, but 1 at 6 is not equals to negative 2. So that means what? There is no solution. This one, they can't be factored. Okay, so sometimes you will have a coefficient with the highest term, such as 3x squared minus 24x plus 14.5. Okay, so for this one, what should you do? How can you do the AC method? Because the AC method requires that, hey, the first term should has the coefficient equals to 1. But now this is 3. Well, but luckily, these three coefficients, they both have a common factor, 3. So that means we can factor them out. So the greatest common factor of all 3 terms is 3. So that means I can factor out x squared minus 8x plus 15. And now when you see this, what should we use? Now we can comfortably use AC method, which is 2 numbers multiply to 15 and 2 numbers, they add them together to get negative 8. Don't forget the negative sign. Okay, so which 2 numbers? Negative 5 times negative 3 is equals to a positive 15. And then negative 5 at negative 3 is equal to negative 8. That means negative 5 and negative 3 is the number we're looking for. So that means our answer should be x minus 3 times x minus 5. Don't forget this 3 in here, because this 3 is still in front. Don't miss it. Don't miss that part. Okay, so that's it for chapter 6.3. Don't forget the homework on my open math, and today we have a quiz. Don't forget to do the quiz. Okay.